I've always steered clear of discussing politics with friends, colleagues, and even some family members. But the GOP's radicalization and its ongoing threat to our democracy compelled me to step away from my 35-year engineering career and step up to fight for a better future for my children and my grandchildren. I decided to be the change I wanted to see. This is why I'm running to replace Jeff Van Drew. I've spent the last year crisscrossing our district, learning about the issues that concern people most. Preserving the coastal environment and tourism economies of Atlantic, Ocean, and Cape May counties. Directing federal funds to develop renewable energy resources and green jobs in Gloucester, Salem, and Cumberland counties. Addressing food insecurity in too many of our communities, and bringing relief to the growing blight of warehouse sprawl in historic Salem County. While the problems we confront are complex, they are solvable. What's needed in the 2nd District is a fiscally responsible representative who understands constituents' needs and will bring an earnest spirit of collaboration to the floor of the U.S. House. You have a clear choice in the upcoming Democratic primary. It's important, though, to understand what differentiates me from my opponent. Tim Alexander and I have campaigned at many town halls and candidates forums. And while he is a fine man, his legislative priorities seem a bit misguided. In his own words, Tim has said his top legislative goal, if sent to Congress, is to build a tunnel under the runway at the Atlantic City Airport using federal funds over which he has no control. By contrast, my legislative goals are more urgent and realistic. I understand that the stability of American democracy is under threat like at no other time in U.S. history. First and foremost, I know that together, Democrats must act now to ensure that our tradition of conducting free, fair, and inclusive elections remains an example to the world and not a tragic footnote to U.S. history. I'm asking for an opportunity to participate in building a sustained economic renewal of our vital shore communities and our struggling rural farmlands. To that end, I support economic policies that benefit middle-class families and small businesses. I'll demand earmarks for federal investment in education and the vocational training needed to create the skilled workforce for our 21st century green economy in southern New Jersey. I'll act to direct federal monies to incentivize our farmers to adopt regenerative agricultural techniques that will curb climate change. I'll fight for appropriations targeted at coastal flood control, renewable energy investments in solar and offshore wind turbines, and work with New Jersey state officials to expand EV charging stations using the federal infrastructure funds, as well as incentivizing carbon footprint reductions for individuals and corporations by advocating for new electric vehicle rebate programs. I'll advocate to close loopholes, tax loopholes, for the wealthiest so that they have the opportunity to pay their fair share of taxes, just like the rest of us. I'll fight to enact a living minimum wage, and I will push for passage of the Fair Paycheck Act so that women and minorities are paid fairly. I'll fight to support the revitalization and growth of labor unions. I will push for paid family leave, universal pre-K, and comprehensive drug pricing to help struggling middle-class families. I will fight to safeguard our voting rights. I will speak loudly and proudly on the floor of the U.S. House to make sure we codify Roe v. Wade to permanently protect women's reproductive rights nationwide. I will fight to enshrine LGBTQ rights into law. I will fight to legislatively address systemic racism and to ensure comprehensive U.S. history is taught in our schools, including the difficult parts of our history. I will fight to enact common sense gun laws to protect all of us, especially our children. I will propose elevating our nation's focus on cybersecurity to a cabinet level or a new military branch to make the U.S. less vulnerable to cyber warfare. I will push for passage of the Food Deserts Act so people will have reliable local access to high-quality, healthy foods. Clearly, there are meaningful differences between the Democratic primary candidates here in New Jersey's 2nd District. But truth be told, I cannot wait to debate Jeff Van Drew on these and other critical issues. Mr. Van Drew's campaign will be well funded by GOP special interests, but I believe my core principles of tolerance, equality, and unshakable belief that America is at its absolute best when we are inspired to cooperate will prevail. We can and must throw the bum out. Our success in the 2022 midterm elections, though, is crucial to the future of our nation's time-honored democratic traditions. Please check out my policy proposals on my website, and most importantly, please exercise your hard-earned right to vote on Tuesday, June 7th. I hope you'll vote for me for Congress. I'd love to have your support.